Greetings and welcome to your next class on argumentative essay. Today, we will learn about developing body paragraphs when it comes to writing an argumentative essay. I am Miss Eduna Ivy and I will be teaching you about arguments, counterarguments, as well as refutations. Enjoy the class! Before we begin, let us take a look at the lesson objectives. At the end of this lesson, you should be able to develop body paragraphs of an argumentative essay by writing arguments or claims for an argumentative essay, writing counterarguments or counterclaims for an argumentative essay, and lastly, writing refutations or rebuttals for an argumentative essay. Let us move on to the next part. Now, dear students, writing an argumentative essay may not be the same as writing other types of essays that you have written before. For example, expository essays or narrative essays. This is because argumentative essays deal with very specific terms or elements that will allow the author to deliver his or her message effectively through the essay. So let's take a look at the screen and let's take a look at the list of key terms that I have provided for you. The first one we have claim or argument. Now, in an argumentative essay, claims or arguments refer to your reasons for believing in something. In other words, they are the reasons for your stance. Next, we have support or evidence. Just like expository essays, support or evidence in an argumentative essay refers to facts, reasoning, explanation, statistics, or data that support your argument. They support your claim. Next, we have counterclaim or counterargument. Now, this refers to a point or a statement that opposes your claim or your argument in your essay. Lastly, we have refutation or rebuttal. A refutation or a rebuttal refers to a point or a statement that discredits the counter argument that has been made towards your argument. So, these are the important key terms that we need to get ourselves familiar with before we start writing an argumentative essay. Now, before we go even further into learning how to develop your body paragraphs in an argumentative essay, let us take a deeper dive into understanding what are arguments or claims in an argumentative essay. Like I've mentioned previously, arguments or claims refer to your reasons for agreeing or disagreeing with a certain topic or a certain issue. For example, when you hear the topic, should university students work part time jobs while studying? You would straight away develop a stance or a position regarding that topic. You may either agree or disagree. Now, in an argumentative essay, we need to provide our reasons for agreeing or disagreeing with something. Therefore, in an argumentative essay, your reasons for agreeing or disagreeing in something are known as arguments or claims. In other words, they are the central ideas or reasons that assert your position on a particular topic or issue. Just like an expository essay, you will have your main ideas regarding a topic. These main ideas help you to shape your essay. Similarly, in an argumentative essay, your arguments or claims will be your main points that help you develop and structure your argumentative essay. In argumentative essays, arguments refer to the main ideas or topic sentences for each of your body paragraphs. Now that you have understood what are arguments or claims in an argumentative essay, let us continue with understanding the criteria that you need to have when writing a claim or an argument in your essay. As I have mentioned previously, arguments or claims in an argumentative essay refer to the main points of the essay. In other words, these main points or these arguments are the reasons why you take up that stance or that position or that viewpoint about a certain topic. Hence, when writing your argument or your main point, you need to ensure that you first write an argument that presents your clear position. How do you do that? Now let's say your position about the issue given previously, which was should university students work part-time jobs while studying, is that you disagree with it. You disagree that university students should work part-time while studying. Therefore, that means that your arguments or your reasons should clearly state or present your disagreement about the topic. Next, your argument or your claim needs to be debatable. In other words, when you write your argument, or generally known as the main point, you need to ensure that it is debatable. You need to ensure that it creates different viewpoints among readers. Why do you have to do that? You need to do that because it sets up the need for evidence and reasoning to support your claim. Which bring us to the next criteria, which is providing evidence for your arguments. When writing an argument or a claim, you need to ensure that your argument or claim is supported by evidence. Ample and credible evidence should be presented to support your argument. Your evidence may vary from research studies, data, statistics, expert opinions, and other examples that you may find helpful. Next, let us take a look at what are counterarguments or counterclaims. So, one of the special criteria of an argumentative essay is that it presents counterarguments or counterclaims. So, before we go even further, what are counterarguments or what are counterclaims? So, previously you learned what are arguments and claims. Now you will be learning what are counterarguments or counterclaims. So, counterarguments or counterclaims refer to opposing viewpoints or arguments that go against your claims. One of the purposes of writing counterarguments or counterclaims is to acknowledge the viewpoints of those who may disagree or may agree with the stance or position that you advocate in the essay. So, for example, you disagree that university students should work part time jobs while studying. Therefore, you will be providing a few arguments to support your stance. Now, what you need to do is to acknowledge the counter arguments or other people's viewpoints that may go against what you believe. Now, you must be thinking, if the purpose of writing an argumentative essay is to influence readers to believe in my viewpoint, why do I have to include other people's opposing viewpoints in my essay? Dear students, identifying and understanding the counter arguments that challenge your arguments will allow readers to see that you have done a thorough research regarding the topic. The ability to acknowledge and refute the counter arguments that revolve around your arguments will strengthen your understanding of your claims or arguments even more. Thus, it will influence your readers better to believe in your position regarding the topic or the issue presented. So, based on the previous points, these are the criteria that you need to have when writing a counter argument in your essay. As I've mentioned previously, acknowledging other people's counter arguments will allow the readers to see that you have done a thorough research regarding the topic, and at the same time, it will make you seem fair and unbiased, which in turn will help the readers to better see why you take the position that you're taking. The first criteria when writing a counter argument or a counterclaim for your essay is to ensure that you fairly represent the opposing viewpoints without misinterpretation or oversimplification to demonstrate a fair and balanced approach to the issue. One of the criteria of writing an argumentative essay is the ability to acknowledge or to present other opposing viewpoints in your essay. In order to ensure that your readers believe in your stance and believe that you have done a thorough research, you need to present all possible counter arguments that are related to your arguments. Secondly, you need to ensure that your counter argument or your counterclaim is plausible. In other words, your counter arguments should be strong and credible, that reflect the viewpoints that some of your readers might have when reading your essay. Lastly, your counter argument needs to be challenging. In what way? It needs to challenge your arguments. Okay, it needs to challenge your arguments or your viewpoints. As you can see, the purpose of a counter argument is to challenge the validity or soundness of the main argument presented in the essay. It prompts critical thinking and engages the writer in a deeper analysis of their own position. So, let's say you have three arguments or three reasons for disagreeing or agreeing with something. The counter argument will challenge one of your strongest arguments or reasons. It will not challenge all of the reasons that you have, but only one of your reasons, which is the strongest one. Going back to what I said previously, why do you need to acknowledge that? Okay? By acknowledging a counter argument or a counterclaim, it shows that you really understand the matters that revolve around the arguments that you make. It also shows that you have done a deep research regarding the topic. And when you are able to portray that, it will it will allow your readers to understand why do you have that stance or that position. And in the end, it will allow your readers to believe in what you say. Now, some of you may wonder, how does writing a counter argument or a counterclaim reflect that I have done a thorough research or that I am even confident in my topic? Some of you might even think acknowledging other people's counter arguments means that I am not confident in what I believe. because I still choose to acknowledge their points. Now, this is where you might be wrong. Okay? By acknowledging their counter arguments or counterpoints, you will be able to provide a rebuttal point or a refutation. Okay, what are rebuttals or refutations? Rebuttals or refutations are points aimed at discrediting the counter arguments or counterclaims made towards your main argument. In other words, it will strengthen your position through demonstrating the flaws in opposing viewpoints or the counter arguments. This is the part where it is very, very crucial because um, it will allow your readers to see that your argument, sorry, is more valid and compelling compared to the counter argument provided in your essay. As I've mentioned previously, your ability to write a rebuttal or a refutation will allow the readers to see why your argument is the more compelling and valid one. This in turn will cause your readers to take up your stance or your position regarding the issue or the topic presented. However, you cannot simply discredit your opponent's counter argument without making sure that your refutations have these two criteria. The first one is for your rebuttal or your refutation to have a logical reasoning. When writing a rebuttal or a refutation in an argumentative essay, it involves pointing out fallacies, gaps in logic, or factual inaccuracies in the counter argument. This will reinforce the credibility of your stance regarding the topic. Therefore, when you provide your rebuttal or refutation, please ensure that you mm, complete it with some valid data, valid uh, valid information from credible resources. Next, you need to ensure that your rebuttals are clear and focused, which aim to persuade your readers. How do you persuade your readers? You persuade them by demonstrating a thorough understanding of the topic, and a thoughtful analysis of opposing viewpoints. So that is the function of your rebuttals or refutations in an argumentative essay. So now that you have understood what are arguments, what are counter arguments, and what are refutations in an argumentative essay, the time has come for us to learn how to develop body paragraphs for your argumentative essay. Now, there are so many ways to begin writing an argumentative essay. However, if you're not familiar with it, these are some of the strategies that you can follow to begin developing your paragraphs. First of all, take a look at the topic given to you. For example, the topic that I've mentioned previously. Should university students work part time jobs while studying? Now, the first strategy or the first step that you need to do is to decide, where do you stand about this topic? Do you disagree with it? Do you agree with it? Once you have decided where you stand, you need to come up with your arguments. Or other words, in another term, main points of your essay. Okay? Identify the key arguments for your position or your stance regarding the topic. So if you say that you disagree with the topic given, you say that university students should not work part time while studying. That means that you need to find your key arguments or your key reasons to support this stance. Once you have come up with your key arguments, you once you have come up with your key arguments, next you need to identify the counter arguments or counterclaims that challenge your argument. However, as I've mentioned previously, the counter argument in an argumentative essay challenges your main argument. So decide among the arguments that you have listed out which of these will be your main argument, your strongest point. So if your first reason is your strongest point, that means you need to look for a counter argument or a counter claim that will challenge that argument. Think about the different reasons, evidence, or logic that might be used to support the counter argument. Once you have identified the counter argument for your main argument, it is time for you to identify refutations or rebuttals that you may use to discredit the counterclaim or counter argument made towards your main argument. Now, you may not be able to do all this in just one sitting or just looking at the screen. So you need to take out your pen and paper and start drawing a mind map or something that will allow you to clearly see your arguments, your counter arguments, and your refutations. Once you have come up with your stance, your arguments, your counter argument, and your refutations, it is time for you to learn how to develop the paragraphs. However, you may find it difficult to develop your body paragraphs if you do not know how to organize the points. You may be thinking, how do I put all these in a paragraph or in different paragraphs? Do I need to put two arguments in one paragraph? Do I need to counter one argument? Do I need to counter my argument with one counter argument in each paragraph? To make it easy for you, we will take a look at one general organizational pattern for an argumentative essay. Before we go there, I would just like to say that the key to delivering your message clearly and persuasively is through an effective organization of ideas. Your readers need to be able to follow the flow of your ideas in order for them to understand your viewpoint. A neatly organized argumentative essay will allow readers to follow the flow of ideas, thus allowing the readers to grasp the overall message that you are trying to convey. This will strengthen your ability to influence readers through your essay. So, as I have said, we will use this general organizational pattern to make it easier for all of you. So, in general, most essays consist of 6 paragraphs where it starts out with an introduction and then your body paragraphs and then your conclusion. Now, for an argumentative essay, it is more or less the same with other types of essays, in which your first paragraph, which is your introduction that you covered in the previous topic, presents your thesis statement or your stance or viewpoint about a certain issue or topic. So, for example, the topic that I've been using, okay, should university students work part time jobs while studying? So, the introductory part will present your viewpoint regarding the topic, whether or not you disagree. And if you agree, what are the reasons? If you disagree, what are the reasons? You learned it in the previous topic. Now, our focus today is how to develop the body paragraphs for your argumentative essay. So, as you have generally known, okay, there are 4 paragraphs for your body paragraphs, okay, in most types of essays. So, in an argumentative essay, Your first body paragraph will present your first argument, or if you are more comfortable calling it your topic sentence, please go ahead and do so. Okay? Your first body paragraph presents your first argument and explanation detailed, basically the supporting details. Next, your second body paragraph presents your second argument or second topic sentence, along with your supporting details. Your third body paragraph presents your third topic sentence or third argument, followed by supporting details. And lastly, your fourth paragraph, your fifth paragraph, okay, the paragraph before your concluding paragraph. That is the paragraph that you will devote to writing your counter argument and refutation. So it does not mean that you will write one argument in your paragraph and then follow it up by another by a counter argument. Okay, what you do here is first you present the first three body paragraphs as your arguments, and then the fourth body paragraph will be your counter argument and refutation. So, as I've mentioned previously, when writing an argumentative essay or any essay for that matter, it is best to always start with drawing a mind map. This will allow you to see what are the points that you can or will use in your essay. So now that you know the structure of an argumentative essay, okay, you may use this mind map to map out your points that you have regarding the topic given to you. Let us move on next. So let us assume that you have already used the mind map given previously and come up with some arguments and counter arguments and refutations that you will use in your essay. Let us now take that into practice. Okay, so the question given to you or the issue given to you was, should university students work part time while studying? So the first thing that you have to do, like I said previously, okay, you need to decide on a stance and identify your arguments. So let's say this is your stance, okay, you disagree with the topic given. So you straight away come up with a thesis statement. I believe you have already learned how to write a thesis statement, so this shouldn't be a problem to you. So, an example of a thesis statement for this topic is, university students should not work part time while studying because it affects students' well being, increases the chance of alcohol and substance abuse, and encourages a materialistic lifestyle. So, take a look at this thesis statement. This thesis statement presents to your readers or presents to people that you your point or your viewpoint or your stance regarding the topic is that you disagree. Why? Because of these reasons, these three reasons mentioned here. So, dear students, these three reasons are your arguments that you will make in your argumentative essay. Moving on how to develop your body paragraphs for an argumentative essay. Now that you have already come up with your stance or your viewpoint together with your arguments, it is time for you to outline your body paragraphs 1 to 3 by filling in the necessary information as provided. So, body paragraphs 1 to 3 will deal with all three arguments that you have mentioned in the thesis statement previously. Next, you need to outline your fourth body paragraph by stating the counter argument against your main point. together with the refutations that you will make to rebuttal that counter argument. So now let us take a look at how the previous points will help you develop your body paragraph. Now bear in mind that this is just an outline. Writing a full body paragraph involves the usage of transitional words, cohesive devices, which you will learn in the next chapter. So let's shift our focus back to developing body paragraphs. So let's say you already have your thesis statement or your stance, where you say that university students should not work part time while studying because it affects students' well being, increases the chance of alcohol and substance abuse, and encourages a materialistic lifestyle. So, like I have mentioned, the 3 points in your thesis statement refer to your arguments or your um, reasons for your viewpoint or your position. So let's take a look at the first point here, which is sorry, affect, affecting students' well being. So that is your first argument. Therefore, you need to provide your topic sentence or your argument, your first argument, in order to develop your first body paragraph. So you may write it in this way provided. Okay, university students should not work part time while studying because it affects students' well being. So that means this is the argument that you are making right now. This is your reason for disagreeing with the topic given to you. Once you have your topic, sentence, or argument ready, you need to come up with the supporting details to ensure that people or your readers understand why do you take that viewpoint or why do you use this argument in your essay. In other words, these supporting details will support your main point. So you can see that three supporting details have been provided in this essay, in this outline. And you can see that each of these supporting details strongly supports the argument. Okay, the argument says that working while studying affects students' well being. The first support says that balancing academic coursework alongside employment responsibilities often results in heightened stress levels and mental exhaustion. The next support says that the lack of adequate rest and relaxation time due to hectic schedule compromises overall physical health. Then you may add another additional explanation or example or support by providing a maybe a research study, okay, an expert's opinion, okay, that will strongly support your argument. As the example has shown here, recent newspaper story. A girl in Pennsylvania suffers from mononucleosis as a result of aiming for good grades, playing on two school athletic teams, and working 30 hours a week. So these elements are what make up an argumentative essay. These are the elements that will show to the readers whether or not you understand the topic that you are arguing about. Next, you have developing body paragraph 2 or um, stating your topic sentence or argument for the second paragraph, second body paragraph. So as you can see, as written here, the topic sentence is next, the heightened chance of alcohol and substance abuse is another reason why university students should not work part-time while studying. And as you can see, this second argument or topic sentence is mentioned as the second point in your thesis statement as well. So, similarly, for this second body paragraph, you need to support your argument by providing ample and credible evidence that may vary from research studies, statistics, expert opinions, or even examples. Now, we will move on to the next body paragraph, which is body paragraph 3. Now, body paragraph 3 deals with the explanation of the last reasoning or the last argument that you have in your thesis statement. So, in your thesis statement, it says that they shouldn't work part time because it encourages a materialistic lifestyle. Therefore, your third body paragraph should talk about that, specifically that. So, as you can see from the example given, the topic sentence or argument number 3 is lastly, the reason why university students should not work part time while studying is because it encourages a materialistic lifestyle. And similarly, you need to provide ample of evidence or facts and examples, explanation to support your argument. That way, you will be able to convince the readers that your points are valid and that you have done a deep research, a thorough research regarding this topic. Next, we have body paragraph 4 or the last body paragraph that you will develop for your content. So, body paragraph 4 deals with statement of counter argument or counterclaim that other people or points will make against your strongest main point. It also deals with you explaining it also deals with you providing the rebuttals or refutations to counter or to attack that counter argument. So let's take a look at these two examples. Okay, like I've mentioned previously, counter argument only challenges your strongest viewpoint, your strongest argument. So you need to choose which of these three arguments that you have is the strongest one. So let's say you think that uh, your strongest point is the last point, which is working part time while studying will cause university students to have a life that revolves around materials. Okay, so maybe that is your strongest argument, strongest point. So if that is your strongest argument, okay, so the counter argument should challenges that. So as shown by the example, the counter argument says that some people claim that working helps teach students the value of money, and it is undoubtedly true. Okay, so remember what I said earlier on, that you need to be fair in representing your opposing viewpoints. You need to be unbiased. You need to be you need to lay out the details without misinterpreting it or oversimplifying it. Okay, by doing that, you will show your readers that um, you have a deep understanding of the topic, and yes, you can admit that there are other people with different viewpoints, okay, but you are still confident that your point is still the more valid one. Okay, and how do you do that? Okay, you do that by providing refutation, a refutation or refutations. Okay, so the counter argument made here is some people claim that working helps teach students the value of money, and it is undoubtedly true. So it is time for you to refute that counter argument by saying, however, studies have shown that majority of working university students use their earnings to buy luxuries. So you can see that the refutation that you use here is based on is based on a number of different studies. So that will strengthen your point and that will strengthen your viewpoint as the author here. Another example given here is, let's say um, your strongest viewpoint is that students shouldn't be working while studying because it affects their well-being. So the counter argument will challenge them, okay, and it will sound something like this. Some experts claim that working while studying helps students to develop their overall physical health, as they would value exercising and their bedtime even more. How do you refute that? Okay, you acknowledge that point, okay, you agree and you accept that point, okay. However, what you need to do is to refute it, okay, refute the point to show that um, you have a stronger point, a more valid point. So your refutation can sound something like this. Nonetheless, the Ministry of Health reported in 2023 that most university students who had a heart attack at such a young age were of those struggling to balance their lifestyle as a worker and a student. So, again, in this refutation, you are using a credible resource to support your claim. And this will convince the readers that you have a stronger point compared to the counter argument presented. So, in turn, it will influence them to believe in your um, points or to take up your viewpoint, take up your position regarding the given topic. So, we have come to the end of the lesson. In this lesson, we have covered the definitions of important key terms in an argumentative essay, as well as um, learning how to develop body paragraphs or body content in your argumentative essay. Understanding the key terms will allow you to write a clear and concise paragraph. Arguments, counterarguments, and refutations allow readers to understand the position or the stance that you have regarding an issue or topic. This will help them to make a sound decision when deciding their position on the said issue or topic. That is all from me. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you have had an enjoyable time listening to this lesson.